Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez.
And I'm Kevin Friel. We'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, www.town.barnstable.ma.us. February is Black History Month, and both are coming to a close. All month long, we've been celebrating with the folks at the Zion Union Heritage Museum on North Street in Hyannis. We've been showcasing the special events and exhibits the museum is offering all this month long.
Earlier today, I spent some time at the museum with former town councilor and museum president Harold Toby, who helped us to bring our month-long series at the Zion Union Heritage Museum to a close with some great stories about his personal journey as an African-American leader in Barnstable. Well, we're back here at the Zion Union Heritage Museum right here on North Street in Hyannis for the final time in February. All month long, we've been bringing you weekly episodes from the museum to celebrate Black History Month along with the leaders here at the museum. We've had Museum Vice President John Reed on over the course of the last month telling all kinds of great stories and getting us up to date on what's happening here throughout the month of February. Just a couple of days left to go in the month, but still some special events coming up at the museum this weekend. On Saturday, February 27th from 2 to 4 p.m., there will be an afternoon of storytelling with Dolores DeLuz and also artful expressions featuring Maria Reed. And then a very interesting event on Sunday, February 28th, also from 2 to 4 p.m. Professor Claire Andrade Watkins will be here. She teaches at both Brown University and at Emerson College, and she's a filmmaker. She made this film, and the film will be shown. It's called Some Funny Kind of Puerto Rican. It's actually about the Cape Verdean ethnicity and various issues surrounding that community. She'll be here not only showing the film, but also answering questions afterwards. So a very interesting weekend to wrap up Black History Month here at the Zion Union Heritage Museum. And speaking of really interesting, we have one of the most interesting gentlemen I met coming up in just a second here to tell a very unique story about his personal journey here in the town of Barnstable. Make sure you stay with us. Well, as I was alluding to before, we do have the pleasure of talking to one of the most interesting gentlemen I've had the pleasure of meeting since I've been here in the town of Barnstable. He needs no introduction, but for the sake of formality, it's Museum President Harold Toby, former town councilor, and many, many other titles as well. Harold, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure entirely. And Harold, as you know, we've been talking with Mr. John Reed all throughout the month of February about African-American leaders in the town of Barnstable. And you are certainly among them. And I've wanted to hear this story for a long time. I know many people have heard it already, but you were the first African-American police officer in the town of Barnstable. Take us back to that time in your life and tell us how it happened.
Well, it happened, I was in 1964, I was hired as a summer police officer. And that, if you remember, was during the time that they were trying to get minorities on departments, fire departments, and the police department. I came on for the summer. I evidently made somewhat of an impression. I was of 64, and early 65 I was hired as a first black regular police officer in the town of Barnstable.
What type of a stir did it cause, if any?
It caused a hue and cry. There were people that were going to quit. It was something that wasn't received. It was about probably 30 people on the department, 30 police officers on the department at the time. And there weren't any minorities at all, including women. And it was such a drastic change for them. They had a very difficult time accepting it. They, for instance, I was told by all the sergeants that I had to perform at a different level, and I nixed that. I said if I mess up, I came on with a group of guys, if I mess up, just treat me the same way. They even went as far as having me followed around to see what I was doing on my off time.
What was that like for you personally, Harold, going through that? Obviously, it took a great deal of strength to persevere and stay on the force.
Well, it did. I was determined that I wanted to make good on the department. I felt that we needed a role model in the sense that, you know, you pick up the paper and what you would see is a person of color being arrested for drugs and whatnot. And I felt I could make a different statement, and it turned out that it worked out very well. Once the department realized that I was just like the rest of them after some incidents that we worked out, and became
just one of the guys.
One of the guys.
Absolutely.
It took a long time. It took me about 3 or 4 years to get there, but I finally made it.
What was the turning point where everybody started to look at you as a police officer, not as a black police officer?
Probably when we worked together in the cruises, the other police officers, they interacted, and I interacted with them when they saw how ridiculous it was that the color of my skin meant no difference.
Now, Harold, aside from the accomplishment of enduring all the criticism and the negative comments to begin with and becoming an accepted member of the police force, you obviously went on to have a very distinguished public life here in Barnstable as a town councilor, and you were on boards and committees as well. Talk about what piqued your interest in going in that direction.
My wife played a role in that. I was working at the Highness Library. I was a security for them during that time. And when they switched the forms of government from town meeting and selectmen form to the town manager and council form, my wife called me. I was working at the library. She said, "You know, Harold," she said, "I think you'd make a good council." I said, I don't know anything about, you know, I'm not into politics and whatnot. And I turned to the head librarian, Ann Louise Morris, and I said, "Do you have anything on how to set up a committee?" And she said, "Harold, you're in a library, you know what you're doing," you know. So from that point, I went home, called up some friends, put a committee together. I found what I could do was make a positive image to my community as a person of color and as just a regular a person, you know. And I went into schools, I spoke in schools and whatnot, and our kids saw a different view of what the typical person of color was supposed to look like. And there are many families that have the same goals that I had, and you know, I just had the opportunity to be out in front and be able to do that.
You have so much to be proud of, Harold. Obviously, your accomplishments with the police force, your time as a town councilor, and this beautiful museum that we stand in today was largely your doing. If you can look back on the life that you've had so far, and Lord knows you have plenty of life left, what can you say makes you the most proud at the end of the day?
I bonded with this community as a counselor. I've ran 3 or 4 times, and I've been elected 3 or 4 times, and that speaks volumes. It makes me feel very proud that the community had trust in me. You know, it's been a very interesting ride.
For more information on the museum and upcoming Black History Month events, visit ZionUnionHeritageMuseum.org. Just one meeting to go this week. The Town Council meets tonight at 7 o'clock in the Town Hall hearing room.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. For Kevin Friel, I'm Nick Cortez. We'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.